Hi guys, welcome to my possible new filming setup. I haven't decided if I like it or not. I guess over the next couple of videos I'll just be trying this and a couple of other different things out and we'll see what sticks. But today I wanted to do my very first proper Q&A video for you all. I asked you some questions on Instagram and on my modelling page and I've saved screenshots of them, so I'm just going to get them up on my phone and I'm going to answer them all for you guys. So we'll start with the ones on my Instagram first. Inori DWF asks, are there any specific places you have always wanted to have a photo shoot at? And off the top of my head, I can't actually think of anywhere in particular. When I do location shoots, I'm always just going to weird, cool places out of the ordinary that most people haven't been to or heard of, like abandoned buildings and stuff like that. I'd like to go to Japan and shoot, as like stereotypical and cliche as that is. I'd also love, eventually when I do go over to America, I'd love to shoot with some photographers over there like Jeremy Saffer. I want to shoot at their studio and places like that. I want to shoot in like New York and LA. I hate beaches, but I'd love to shoot at a beach in America so I can actually do a beach shoot where it's warm and I'm not like freezing my bits off. Callisto222 asks, why is it you moved from Scotland to Manchester? Did you find there was just more opportunities for your modelling there? I can't remember. I'm so bad, I can't remember if I've actually properly discussed this in a video yet or if I've been thinking over in my head and I've been planning to do a video. I actually can't remember, I've been so busy and my brain's fried, but I'll give you a quick reason now. I wanted to move to Manchester because it is better for music and modelling and that's what my management wants. Scotland's alright for music and modelling, but both scenes are very insular and they're very small, and not so much with music, but with modelling it was very much the case where I was working with the same people for the most part over and over again, and the people I was working with were amazing and really talented and we were getting some really good images, but I felt like I wasn't progressing, I wasn't working with like new people in the industry as much, and I found more and more I was travelling down to England to shoot. So about 6 months ago I sort of realised, would it not just be easier to move down, and that way I'd finally move out of my parents' house and I'd be in a whole new place and it would just be really exciting because I've been I lived at my parents' house for a year after I finished uni, and it was, as nice as it was to be back at my parents', it was like soul destroying. I wanted to be like doing adult things. I don't really feel like an adult a lot of the time. I still feel like an 18-year-old because there's a lot of stuff I don't know, but I really wanted to get back out there and not be living in my parents' house and like under what they wanted me to do and everything like that. So I guess that's another reason: music, modelling, and didn't want to live with my parents anymore. I did consider moving down to London, but it's a lot more expensive and I feel more safe in Manchester. I like the vibe here a lot better than I do in London. Every time I go down to London, I feel very unsafe. I feel like I'm gonna get mugged or something. Oh god, I'm gonna butcher this. No, Elia. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce your name, sorry, I'm just gonna put it here. She asks, what is your dream/aim and what do you do to make it happen? Well, my dream/aim is to be successful at what I'm doing with music and modelling and everything. There are a couple of ways that I'm working on that. One way is that I have an incredible support network and management team. They're amazing. I haven't been with them too long, but already the stuff that we have planned is insane. One thing that I do personally is that I'm always organised. I've done 1 or 2 videos talking about my organisation and everything, but basically I have this thing where I have to accomplish something every single day. Like, it has to be something. It's good if it's something that relates to my modelling music. I give myself a little bit of leeway if I'm ill or just not feeling well, as long as I like do all the housework or something. That's something. I need to be always like pushing forward every single day, not having a rest day. That's one way that I aim to achieve my goals. Wonderfully Wacky Webster, I love your stuff. She says, how did you balance being at university with other commitments, e.g. modelling? So for those of you who don't know, I did 4 years of Further in higher education, I did 2 years of college where I still lived at my parents', and that's kind of when I started modelling, and then I did 2 years up in Perth at uni. And the way I kind of see my modelling and everything else, for the first year that I was up in Perth, I was still very much a hobby, kind of around like 6 months into like the last year of my uni degree. I'd say it got a lot more serious, so it was kind of a gradual build-up. It's not like all of a sudden I was thrust into being at uni and then having to deal with all this stuff. It kind of built up gradually, and I got more and more used to having more and more work. The biggest problem that I did have being at university was the fact that I was up in Perth and I was an hour's travel away from the two main places that I was getting modelling work, so Glasgow and Edinburgh. And having to travel up and down and everything was probably the biggest problem that I had when it came to that. But in terms of workload and everything else, I didn't really have a problem fitting in my modelling with uni. I just sort of, you know, arranged my shoots when I didn't have 20 million things to do at uni. You know, I found it was easy. It also helped that I didn't actually have a real job because I was in full-time education. I didn't need to get one because I had like money coming in from the government to help me do that, so I was very fortunate being from Scotland that I could get away with doing that. So it's not like I was juggling like uni, a job and modelling. Tourniquet asks, how did you get into the goth metal scene? I did mention this on my Am I Still Goth video, but I'll just quickly summarise it here. I kind of, when I was like in primary school and like very much like a young child, I remember watching like cartoons and stuff, and I remember seeing like the goth characters like the Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo, and like Raven from Teen Titans and all of these characters, and I remember thinking just how badass they were and how I wanted to be like that, because I wasn't like that. I was very much like the nerdy kid in class. How I got into metal was essentially just a progression of that. The clubs that I was going to and the people that I was hanging out with also liked metal, and I think pretty much all of my ex-boyfriends and girlfriends have been metalheads, so it just kind of naturally happened that I got into metal, and now I've kind of gradually gone back out of metal again and properly into like goth and synth stuff. So now we're moving on to all of the Facebook questions. I'm gonna not include people's names here just for anonymity's sake, because it's for the most part their real names. I don't want to like give their details out here too much. This person asks a couple of questions. How did you get into modelling, how young I am, and what country I'm from? So I just turned 23 and I'm from Scotland, but now I live in England. And how did I get into modelling? I fell into it. I just happened to do a photo shoot for some of my music stuff and I actually really enjoyed it, and I just sort of over the course of maybe a year to 2 years went from a hobbyist to semi-professional to where I am today, which is probably somewhere between semi-pro and professional. Someone else has asked a whole bunch of questions as well. What bands and music do you like? I like primarily goth and synth music, Depeche Mode and Sisters of Mercy and stuff like that, obviously, like Volume Control, and anything to do with the new romantic movement. I've been loving Lay Your Ghosts new stuff. Axel's such a great guy. Anything like that. What's weird is I find that most of the music I like, I'm actually friends with the bands, so people like Hands Off Gretel, who are like Riot Girl punk stuff, and then like Combi Christ. Like, it's so weird that I know people like in those bands to hang out with. But I like bands like that as well, like a lot of industrial stuff and a lot of punk, like Riot Girl type, screamy, rage-filled stuff. This person also asks where I shop. I assume she means for clothes and not groceries. I get most of my clothes for photo shoots from TK Maxx, just they have some crazy weird stuff. I also like some Killstar stuff, but mainly like thrift stores and TK Maxx really. I don't really like wearing too much like brand stuff. This person also asks what my favourite makeup brand and what my favourite clothing brands are. In terms of makeup, the two main brands that I use for my face are Lunatic Cosmetics Labs and Kat Von D. Kat Von D's Shade and Light Eye palette is the palette that I'm using today. I don't know if you can see with this setup. I love it so much, it's my new everyday. And then for Lunatic Cosmetics Lab, I use their contour book, like their volume 1 contour book, for my contour, blush and highlight every single day. And then I used to use their Supernatural palette every day for my eyes. I switched that with the Kat Von D, but I still use the red shade on their Supernatural palette for my eyebrows because it's like the perfect colour. There's a really similar colour in the Kat Von D palette, but it's just a little bit too orange. And I like how this goes on my eyebrows a lot better. In terms of lipsticks, I'm really cheap. I go for the MUA Luxe brand of liquid lipsticks. They're really cheap at Superdrug, but they're really good and they come in a whole bunch of colours. I'm wearing one today. I also have Kat Von D's liquid lipstick in Bow and Arrow. I really like that one as well, but I like to save that for special occasions. And I still like my Tato Rounds Beauty lipsticks that I reviewed like a year or two ago. They're still really good, though they're kind of drying out. I should probably buy some more. And as far as my favourite clothing brand goes, I'm honestly not sure. I kind of like certain pieces from certain brands. I do like a lot of Killstar stuff, like the less overt Killstar stuff. I also like a lot of the clothing that Rogan Wolf has been putting out. And as far as latex goes, because I shoot a lot of latex, I don't really have a favourite brand. I like a lot of Honours stuff. I really want to get some of the House of Harlot, Iris the Spider latex, like Danny Devine collaboration. Their stuff's really cool. I really like Lady Lucy latex, and then Excess latex. But for the most part, I just like certain bits and bobs and not like a specific brand as a whole. This person asks, when did you realise you were destined to rule the world? Oh, first off, thank you, because that's a lovely message. I don't know if I'm gonna rule the world or not. That's what my management wants. And that's what they're gonna try their damnedest to do, but yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, I've started thinking more and more about it in the last year or so, but I still don't know if it'll happen. And last two questions. How can you tell between a bad tattoo artist and a good one? Now, I've been to like a couple of different tiers of tattoo shops. I've been to a really, really expensive place, and I've been to a couple of cheaper places where I just got some flash that I designed, made up, and done pretty much on the spot. I'd say like big ways you can tell the difference are how clean the shop is. If the shop's really clean and hygienic and everything, there's a better chance that everything's going to be alright. You can tell straight away just by doing your research and looking at the tattoo artist's work. If you see the work on their page or on their Instagram and it looks like crap, then if they tattoo you, it's probably going to look like crap as well. And then like another way you can tell is their pricing. If they're doing palm-sized tattoos for £20 and they're not an apprentice, it's probably not going to be very good. The lines are probably going to be shaky, it's probably not going to be in too well, they're probably not using very good ink or particularly good equipment. But I mean, it just comes down to doing your research and just finding somewhere that works for you, you know? Work hard and make it happen. As far as music goes, I also fell into that. What essentially happened was I didn't do very well in my exams at school. I was doing really well up until my penultimate year of high school, and I flunked that year and I had to use my final year to catch up. But because I'd spent that year catching up, I locked myself out of a lot of options. So when it came to deciding what I was going to do for further education, because I was hell-bent on actually going to college or going to uni after I did high school, there wasn't a lot I could do. And I'd done a little bit of singing and everything before, but nothing super serious. And I was just like, you know what, I'll audition, because to get in to do music you need to audition. I'll audition, and if they hate me I'll go do something else. if I get in, I'll see how I do. And I got in, which is surprising because back then I was pretty bad. I think there's still a couple of videos, like vocal covers from before then, and I can't even look at them because they're awful. They're like my oldest ones if you search them. Everyone tells me they're fine, but I hate them. But yeah, I just sort of studied it, and then after I finished uni, I was very fortunate that within like a month or two I met my management, and it's all just starting to kick off now, so yeah. I wouldn't say my career is like actually properly even started yet for music. I think there's a lot of exciting things coming up in the next couple of months, but nothing right now, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all the questions I got. If you guys have any more questions for me, please do let me know and I'll be very happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye bye!